Good morning and welcome to another edition of Lakers Fast Break Spotlight on the Lakerholics weekend. I'm Jamie Sweet. With me is Michael H. and Laker Tom. I think we're all kind of stoked that the Lakers were won against Memphis. I thought for a little bit there in the second half it was not looking so hot, and then a nice solid run led by the 41-year-old LeBron James, who's still doing amazing things in an age when most people are contemplating when their next round of golf is going to be, or maybe they'll have a barbecue this weekend, and LeBron is
television commentator.
Huh?
Television commentator.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Transitioning right into that color commentator role or that halftime show role where you get to talk about, this, that, or the other thing. And LeBron's still throwing down tomahawks and dropping three balls and making timely assists and, playing. I'm not going to lie, other than the defensive end, playing pretty good basketball. And, you can't expect a 41-year-old to do everything. He just can't. I mean, I get it. He's getting paid to do everything. He's getting paid a lot of money. But, for me, that kind of comes in a little bit second. Happy New Year, Kurt. Oh, let's just put this up on the chat. Show on the stream. Happy New Year, Kurt. Happy New Year, Daniel. I saw your thing earlier. Happy New Year to everybody. May 2026 treat us all with kindness, compassion, and understanding of these
That's a tall order.
These curious times we're all living through. Very curious times. I'll just leave it right there. That's where I'm going to leave it. Curious times indeed. As we come up on the fantastic anniversary of January 6th. Anyway, let's move right on from that briskly before I start getting some wonderful comments in the chat. Okay, let's talk about the Memphis game real quick. Somehow we won the game despite Memphis taking 96 shots and us taking 77. Usually when you see that kind of shot discrepancy, you're on the losing end. Thankfully, we shot 58% from the field and shot about 11 more free throws, I want to say. And this has been the pattern of a lot of Lakers wins. They outscored us in transition. They outscored us. We gave up almost 30 points off of turnovers, which has been our recipe for losing. Usually when we're giving up that many fast break points, we're about even points in the paint. I want to say they scored 60, we scored 68, something like that. It wasn't much of a differential points in the paint. Big differential was in field goal accuracy. They shot 48%, we shot 58%. And clearly the free throw line, which has been, the Lakers' MO for the last few seasons now. If we're not getting a decent discrepancy at the free throw line, winning has been tough, which is why I don't think this team is really built for playoff success, because whistles dry up, whistles go away in the playoffs, and you just got to play through it. You can't stop the game and whine to the refs. You can't, take a possession off while you talk about how you were tapped on the arm or what. You just got to be tough and play through it. And that is where I think this Laker team comes up a little bit short, and that's everybody. That's everybody on the whole roster. I think the coaches get a little wrapped up everybody gets a little too wrapped up in the officiating on this team, and I would like for it to be less. We'll see if that happens. Michael, you were the first one here, so what were your thoughts on the game last night? I don't know if you got to see the game or just highlights or whatever, but it was a gritty game.
Yeah, I watched the game, and I just keep coming back to this point. We could significantly improve our defense without trades, without roster shot. If we could just stop turning the ball over 20 freaking times in a game.
Offense and defense
transition defense is hard. Yeah. And if you're continually in transit, when we were able to set our defense, it was pretty decent.
It's decent.
But that coupled with some really poor shot selection, results in long rebounds, more transition offense. We don't run enough plays. Luka's a superstar. I love him as a player, but he does take some god awful shots from time to time. and it just, three people out, fadeaway three with a couple of people in your face is not a good shot.
No, not when there's meaningful time left on the clock. Not when there's meaningful time left on the clock.
So, you just clean up those two things, and we could beat an average defense at least instead of a bottom third.
Tom, what do you think about that?
I pretty much agree. listen, LeBron's handle is the weakest part of the game right now. I mean, he can hardly control the damn ball in the middle of the court. And Luka's obviously risky passes and so forth. The home run pass every time is. There's a point where the coaches just gotta say, "Take care of the goddamn ball, man," and I can't remember the guy's name, but there's some point guard that couldn't make it as a starter, but he always had like a 20-1.
Tyus Jones.
Tyus Jones. We need Tyus Jones, man.
I've wanted Tyus Jones on the team for like 3 seasons, man.
Hey, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Groundhog Day, and I feel like I've watched these 11 losses.
The movie, not the holiday. The movie, yes, the movie.
Yeah,
Tom,
movie. It's the movie all over again, man. And I'm a big movie watcher, so I've watched a lot of movies, probably 11 times.
I literally just watched that movie the other day. It's really funny that you brought it up.
It's a great movie, and every time I watch it, I see some new little wrinkle in it. That impresses me. But these games, I mean, it's. I was really happy that it was within 5 points when we hit the 5-minute mark, because I figured, we're going to win.
Clutch time. We got this now.
And Jake nails a 3 and Marcus nails a 3 at critical times, and we slide home free, It's,
it's a little infuriating.
It is a little infuriating, and it's really frustrating because I really feel that Pelinka should be sitting on the bench making those decisions, since he's the guy who stuck all those players on the live roster. And JJ's, and then the injuries, man.
Yeah.
Not even just the Lakers.
No, the league.
What's happening with the league?
Yeah.
This
that was the 17th starting lineup for the Lakers last night. 17th of the season.
17, and we're not halfway through the season yet.
Well, how many games have we really had the entire team? I think it's just one game, I remember.
Something like that.
3. We had everybody there, all the entire lineup roster available.
I don't know about everybody. I mean, the Big Ten, I think, if it played together 3 or 4 games. I mean, but I
9 out of 10 games this year, we've had somebody important missing.
We've had a lot of guys that are out of the lineup.
It's you don't know what kind of team you got. I think the only judgment you can make is that we're not going to be able to hang with the Spurs and the Thunder at this point in time. We need a trade to do that, and I don't see him making a trade unless we get Robert Williams for the 2nd round pick is probably the only thing that we could probably do during the season.
And there's a world where we can get Keon Ellis, Dalton Connect in the 1st round pick unprotected. I
wouldn't use. He's not worth a 1st round pick, man.
No, he's a couple of seconds, and unfortunately,
we don't have a couple of seconds.
You're right.
We only have one.
He ain't a first round.
What about a top 5 or top 10 protected 1st round pick?
No.
They don't do that, right?
Yeah. Well, listen. The problem is that he's a small guard to start with.
Yeah.
There's got to be something personality-wise that he's not getting minutes, because he can shoot the ball and he can defend.
Well, he's getting minutes now because they're shopping him.
Well, yeah, because he is now.
Same reason Dalton Connect still gets minutes.
Something to do with his personality that bothers me a little bit.
Let's look at let's I don't want to talk about John Morant. I don't care about John Morant. Everything on Memphis, that's the kind of team we've been beating all season, right? We've been beating these sort of treading water in transition, no real identity. Once we come up against a team with an identity, we really struggle. And it's whether it's Phoenix.
Well, it's always the same identity. Young,
physical, athletic guards.
Or big. Or tough teams.
Big.
And you could argue that Detroit is both. They've got some good veterans on that team now, but that you could argue that Detroit's both. Cade Cunningham's, he's going to be a problem.
Yeah, but they also had that kid go off with his game of his career.
Sure, of course, but this is all this play
again. Though turnovers, it was a tight game. 3 quarters, 4 turnovers led to 4 3-point shots.
Yeah, no,
and it's game over.
It's the number one issue that's affecting this team, and you can put some of it on Luka, you can put some of it on Redick. And you can put some of it on I think
put a lot
the
of it on
Lakers.
Luka and LeBron because they're the one making the turnovers.
LeBron and Luka, 13 turnovers combined.
Yeah, well, LeBron is
13
going to average
turnovers.
5
It's
turnovers
awful
a game.
hard to
Luka's
get
going
a
to
good
average.
ratio out of that one.
That's the problem, is that like the law of diminishing returns on what your superstars can provide, if they're constantly turning the ball over, closes quickly. If they're taking care of the rock, if they're only turning it over 2-3 times a game and they're putting in superstar level production everywhere else, maybe not on defense, you can overcome that, I think, fairly easily with the roster we have. I think where we start to run against it is that we either don't have elite enough role players or our superstars aren't tight enough with the team.
And our center disappeared about
our center just, I don't know what happened to DeAndre Ayton over the holidays.
Somebody hurt his feelings or what? I mean, my God.
I don't know. But I mean, I do believe that like he does not want to be on a team where it's expected that all he does is set screens and run to the rim. I think you have to consciously, as a coach, and whether you think this is a good idea or not, I think if you want to keep him engaged as a player, as a coach, you need to run.
Right.
You need to run him 2 post-ups a half. I think that's it. 2 or 3 post-up opportunities.
You can't just let LeBron and Luka do all the shooting. You know,
and you should want to do that. But that's because you need the inside out. You should do that.
but that's not how the game is played anymore, and that's not how Luka or LeBron are wired. And it's and I think this is where we're running into like this is.
Well, Luka
did where
that in Dallas. That was that was Dallas's identity.
I know,
Luka
but
playing in the post, centers in the post.
They had a completely different roster. They had 2 athletic, really effective defensive centers, and that's where Hayes drops off. He's athletic, but he's not effective defensively. And Ayton is he's just too cerebral or moody or whatever adjective you choose to use. He's not dominant in the way where every day he wakes up and wants to destroy the opponent. I think every day he wakes up and goes, I hope I'm involved. Or I hope I get to do like whatever it is that I don't know what it is. I don't know the guy well enough.
Well, the problem to start with is he's not the prototype that we need as a center. We need a defensive rim protector.
I tend to agree with that. I think that if he, I mean, I kind of disagree because
we need a floor stretcher or a rim protector, and ideally both of them, and he's neither. Now, that's not to say that he doesn't have great value with his.
Yeah, that's true. I'll agree with that.
He protects the paint, though. He doesn't get a lot of blocked shots, but he's up there.
No, but he's effective around the rim. But
he's not good in space anymore. He doesn't.
No, he's not popping. He's not taking that 20-footer anymore, or they're closing on it, and that he's not adjusting. Right. But again, this also comes down to coaching, right? Like I think that. And I'm not saying that there's a coach out there that can corral both Luka Doncic and LeBron James and navigate the various persons on this team. That's a lot for any coach to ask. Yeah. That's a Phil Jackson-sized ego problem, right? And that was what made Phil Jackson an amazing coach. It wasn't that he was some tactical genius. It wasn't that he was, this play-calling savant. He managed the personalities in the locker room so that everybody was their most effective versions of themselves. And whether they liked it or not, they all got along enough on the court to make it happen on the most consistent basis probably possible. And there aren't a lot of coaches that are like that anymore. I'm not even putting this on Reddick. This is not a specifically Jay. There's a lot of coaches right now that I think are out of their elements personality-wise, and like they're better assistant coaches because they want to scheme. They want to do the coaching side, but not the personality side. And I think that the personality side in the modern NBA is as important, if not more important, depending on the players you have. Luka's an offense unto himself. LeBron is an offense unto himself. Guys like that are offenses. You don't need to run all these fancy plays. A couple of plays would be nice, but you don't.
Once in a while.
One of the things that's difficult always is to just measure what you're doing when you got take the different offense. Look at what Miami is doing now. Miami's coming down, spreading the court. They want to shoot the ball like the Suns used to do. Yeah. And they're spreading to the left and right and leaving the middle of the floor open for whoever's got the ball. And they're going to just drive that ball straight down to the basket and wait for the people to leave the corners open. And that's their offense. Every game. They don't call plays. They don't have sets. They just get the ball and run.
Yeah, they don't do pick and roll at all.
Yeah. And well, that's a big difference that's happening in the league, which is interesting because you can see that what's happened with Ja Morant, what's happened with Trae Young.
Yeah.
The old pick and roll guys, and who's the biggest pick and roll guy in the league is Luka. Fortunately, he's 6'7", 230 pounds or so, and so you can hide him on a big guy where you can't hide Trae.
Right.
You can't hide Trae and Ja on anybody anymore.
Yeah.
But the whole theory though is that pick and roll slows the game down.
Yeah.
And we're getting killed with pace on top of it, and we're playing slow. And
we play slow, and they all want to play fast.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that there definitely is a new wave of young players that are teams and players that are taking over. And I always felt that it's really sad that we're going to miss out this year because I think the Lakers are I think this is a gap year for them. I think they can see the writing on the wall. They need the free agency haul that they're going to get next summer and the 3 draft picks to turn the team around because otherwise they're not going to be able to keep up with the Oklahoma Cities and the Spurs and the teams like that, the Rockets.
It's funny that you make that point, Tom, and I'll ask you about this too, Michael. Apple 3820 just said, without pick and roll, Ayton is useless. And as we were just saying, the pick and roll as teams go away from pick and roll action. Is there a world, Michael, where you can see DeAndre Ayton being the future center of the Lakers, or is this kind of a 1-2 year stop and he moves on and that's that?
Well, here's the deal: who's going to be better that we can get? I won't know. I can't answer that because you're looking at, I'm constantly looking at the free agents for next summer. I don't see a center that's better than him available. Yeah, next summer. I mean Williams III will be available as a free agent. But he has you can't.
He can't play starter minutes. He can't play starter minutes.
He can't play starter minutes.
So he's a great backup. He's a great backup.
Yeah. But that's the question. Who can we
get? Walker Kessler. Walker
Kessler is a restricted free agent.
You're restricted free agent. You can make an offer.
Yeah, but we can essentially offer him 4 first-round draft picks next summer.
3.
Well, we can also give him the 27 1 through 4 that we.
One guy is not going to fix this. One center is not going to fix this.
No, I don't.
We actually need perimeter defenders a bit more than we need a center.
Yeah,
I would put perimeter defense higher than center, to be honest.
Here's what I think the Lakers are going to do and what the big plan is. The grand plan is free agency, and the grand plan is to steal 3 people. I think they'll end up with a sign and trade involving Walker Kessler. And I think they'll also be able to make offers that the Nuggets will not be able to match for Peyton and Watson, and that the Rockets will not be able to match for Tari Eason. I think that's what the goal is. They can clear $100 million easily in cap space. They could
probably add Keon Ellis for a very reasonable price.
Well, I think they'd also look at. I think they'll look at Robert Williams and Keon Ellis as guys that are also. But the thing is that there's only 5 teams that have anything like 20 million or more in cap space, and the Lakers can open up 100 million, 52 of which is obviously LeBron.
Sure.
And nobody wants to lose a player for nothing. But if you can convert that player into cap space that you can really use, and the Lakers can do that, they can go out and make $100 million offers to Tari Eason and to Watson that their teams can't match. They have a good chance of doing that, and they make an offer that as a starting point with Utah, they can give them the 1 through 4 and 20 and the 97 pick, and then the basically plus the 3 picks. That's 4 picks, and then they give him the trade as just matching salary. It's under $5 million for him. We'll have to give him a raise, obviously, but we're still in a.
It would be a sign and trade because this is his last
sign and trade. The sign and trade is the only way that you're going to work that out with Utah, and I think
it's possible.
Better deal.
Possible. everybody.
Free agency is how Mark Waldo. That's what he did with the Dodgers. Is big on free agency. Now we don't have the same rules.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a lot
Opportunity
of different
now
rules.
to be the only team with $100 million, and you know that Terry Eason's agent is going to know that. Peyton Watson's agent is going to know that. Walker Kessler's agent is going to know that. Every team in the league is going to know that. And we're not going to give up that third pick because we will really have an opportunity to have an extreme makeover next summer. Very similar to what they did in the third year of the Dodgers. And it's all
possible. It's possible. Here's another question. Apple 3820 says, after giving AR the max, do we have enough for other guys? I don't think at this point, I don't think Reeves is going to get the max.
I think that he'll say first thing is he wants to be a Laker.
Yeah, sure, to a point.
The solution to the here's the solution. The solution to the Austin Reeves, Luka Doncic backcourt. Can it be a championship backcourt? Yeah, if you give him Walker Kessler, Tari Eason, and Peyton Watson, you give him those three defenders at 6'8", and 7'2", and all of a sudden you have a dynamite starting lineup.
Sure.
I mean, that's the only way that we can turn things around because our draft assets really aren't going to go out and bring us a superstar.
No.
We can spend a one pick and probably bring in 31-year-old Andrew Wiggins, and I think he'll be terrific. And I think he could be part of
he's not on. They're saving him for.
Why give up 31? Why give up $31 million in? I mean, everything is set up for us to use the free agency.
Yeah,
we had added to our depth last year, and this year with LeBron included in that package. Plus, it's $210 million is the new first apron now.
It will be, yes.
Which leaves a lot of room. You can give Reed $30 million. You can give. You could give Hayes a little bit of raise, $500,000 or something. Sure. You can give Smart, $12 million.
Well, he's under contract for next season, so we don't have to give him anything.
Well, he's got an option.
Well, he can walk if he wants more than that, he can walk, in my opinion.
No, who was the number one player who won the game last night? It was Marcus Smart, by far the biggest plus minus of anybody on the team.
I mean, he was
top player and plus minus on the entire team now.
Yeah, he's been
your Marcus Smart criticism.
No, I won't. But it's not what I want to get into today.
Ridiculous.
I just don't see him as the future, and so I don't see the need to put a lot of money in towards that resource when there's comparable players out there. But that's just me. Here's what I'd like to kind of focus on to end on. We're coming up on the halfway point. This is the kind of part of the season where whether you like your team's identity or not, you start to resign yourself to the fact that this is your team's identity. I think that because of the injuries, because of the still discovering chemistry between Luka and this whole group of players, that there is a little bit of wiggle room to say that there's more of a Lakers ceiling than maybe some might believe. I think it's higher than they've shown. I think I think we've all made some good points in terms of if we could cut down the turnovers, if we could either up the pace or be better about controlling the pace through shot selection and again.
Or if we could just have our 14 players all be healthy.
And if we could have 12 main guys healthy. Because, one of the things that's helped the bench is Jared Vanderbilt shooting 40+% from 3-point
almost 50%.
After last night.
He's our best 3-point shooter for the month of December.
Now, listen. I'm not trying. I love Jared Vanderbilt. I don't believe that is who he is.
If he can, 35%.
Just like anybody, I would love it if he proved me wrong. If he proves me wrong, I'll be so happy.
He needs 35%. He needs
35 to 37%. I think you could consistently rely on him to shoot 35%. And again, if Marcus Smart could do the same thing, if all your bench guys
defenders
35 between 35 and 40% from three, whoever they are, that's workable for this team. That's a very workable bench situation.
Not really. They can't go forward. They cannot go forward, and they will not.
I'm just talking about the bench
shooting threes. You got to shoot a lot more threes, and you need guys who can shoot more threes. These guys who shoot 2 or 3 threes a game, that doesn't count, man. It doesn't count because we're going to be in a negative 3-point differential.
I don't even know what that means. Okay.
What it means is simply that you're not going to win in the NBA, in today's NBA, unless you at least shoot 43s a game.
Well, you have to have plays that set up that. And
you got to have players who can shoot volume threes.
Well, we don't know.
I think we have 4 of those guys on the team, and Reeves, Luka, LeBron.
He's still only averaging 34 shots a game.
And Rui, yeah. Well, that's for me the biggest mystery is why is it that Rui still barely cracks 10 shots on a regular basis? I mean, he's hurt now, but
I mean, that's really what they should do is move Rui to the bench and give him twice as many shots.
Well, I think that's
because there isn't twice as many shots for him. I
literally did a whole post on the Lakerholics blog about the same thing, where I would accept LaRavia or Vando in the starting lineup in lieu of Rui Hachimura. I would too. I don't care which one. I would be happy with it was Vando. I think you would get a lot more energy boost right off the.
Well, I do Vando because I think his defense is better, and then I think that potentially to keep more scoring on the bench, I think Jake will start to score more, and it'll be more.
Well, you could intersperse. That's the beauty of the 3.
I'd like to see 2 defenders in the starting lineup and 2 defenders on the bench.
Michael, what would you do to fix the bench scoring? Would you move?
Well, one thing.
I know you're. I ask you because I know you're probably the biggest Rui Hachimura supporter on the show.
Well, for me, the first thing to fix the bench scoring is to get guys healthy. So the best bench guys aren't starting.
Right.
That's big, right?
Big.
I mean, when you have your best bench guys having to start all the time, that's gonna really degrade your bench. So
and no Gabe Vincent again. Another season in which Gabe Vincent seems to barely have played.
Yeah. So as far as Rui is concerned, Rui would be an excellent starting forward on a team that moves the ball and runs plays and gets some shots. But we don't do that. So if we're not going to do that, then put him with the second unit and get him some more shots that way. He's a better defender than he's given credit for.
I agree with that
because he can guard 3 through 5.
I agree with that. Depending on the 5. Depending on the
5.
I mean, he's showed against Joker. So
no, he can hold his own. I'm not trying to put him in some sort of like Tony Allen category or anything.
No,
I think that you kind of hit the nail on the head though. If he was on the right, his skill set is maximized by this is your shot, this is your play, and we don't
do that.
We could get into a whole show about why we do or don't. I think some of it's coaching. I think some of it's the superstars you have. I think some of it's Rui Hachimura's inherent. Just I'm perfectly willing to sit here.
All of it.
He's a little passive. He's pretty passive as a player, to be honest.
We have three elite one-on-one guys.
Yeah, I know.
That love the ball in their hands.
I know.
Dribble.
Play.
And the ball doesn't move.
Shoot it.
It's the last second. There's 3 guys on me.
Jump, Jackson, jump.
So I mean that's the problem.
No, and I agree. This is where I get back to like coaching gravity too. Like I think a stronger coach that can control personality stronger might be able to corral that, and maybe not. Maybe that's
not with Luka. Now you got Luka Doncic and LeBron James.
And Austin Reeves.
Well, this is why when you say it's a gap year, Tom, I don't really disagree with you. I think that they can see it as a gap year, and you can look at that, $55+ million that represents LeBron James's salary, and even if you cut it in half, even if he comes back for half, which I don't think he will, but even if he does, you can still go out and get 1 or 2, quality guys for the remaining money.
Okay, but we only have 1 first and 1 second round pick, man. And
no, I know. This is one. If only Nick Smith Jr. was consistent.
We could probably at our best get Andrew Wiggins and Robert Williams.
We'd be very old. I think
Wiggins is being saved for the Greek
Giannis.
Freak. They're holding.
They're going to try to make a deal for Giannis in the summer. I agree.
Sure.
And they might have to.
Probably we are too.
They might have to include one of Bam or Cal L. I always want to call him Kal-El like Superman, but his name isn't Superman. If only Nick Smith Jr. was consistent. I can't agree with this more. I love the potential, the idea that is Nick Smith, and this goes right into that. Both these guys are really frustrating. Is Dalton a bust at this point? I mean, yes.
Yeah.
on this team,
I'm saving Dalton
On
because
the
he's who we're going to trade for Walker Kessler.
no, they'll just
He's the only one we got that matches up salary wise with Walker Kessler.
Yeah, I mean, if we could get Walker Kessler for a first-round pick and Dalton Connect this season, I'd do
the
it.
Dalton Connect and 4 first-round picks.
No.
Kessler's not going to sign for $4 million.
No. That the only way I do that trade is A, because he's injured right now. He's not.
Well, we get 1 year on his old salary.
No. That's what I'm saying. The only reason I make that trade in season is because he's a restricted free agent and we can match. And there's no other reason to make that trade. And if you wait until after he's not a restricted
free agent next year.
He is a free agent next. He's a restricted free agent next year.
That's what I'm saying. I would want him on the contract. I see what. Yeah. That's fine.
So you still work out a deal where
that's
you
fine.
sign him to an extension that starts a year after his last.
I would love that. Sign and trade for Walker Kessler for Connect, and I don't care what. I'm fine with that. We're going for another guy who seems to be annually hurt with multiple game missing injuries.
But tell me,
that's the whole NBA.
Look around and tell me. Yeah, you pick 10 players, and 9 of them are going to fit that mold now.
I think about 80% of the players in the league fit that mold at this point.
And the guys,
I kind of like Tom's ideas on the wing defenders.
Me
Those
too.
guys,
no.
they're good, but they're not going to demand a king's ransom.
Right.
No. Well,
and they're young. They're young.
They're young. That's
I mean,
right.
they're going to be $15 to $20 million guys.
I am at the place.
They'll offer $25 million, and they'll blink.
I think I'm at a place, and I think a lot of people at Lakerholics.com are in this place, and I think a lot of people on the podcast and Laker fans in general are getting to a place where I would like to see us in general choose the younger player.
Yes.
If you're looking at an old guy and a young guy,
don't waste your draft picks on older guys.
Don't waste your exactly. If you're doing a free agency signing, just cash, I'm okay with the older guy.
Well, we have room for buyout candidates at minimum salary. I think we have. Listen, that's the other benefit of having cap space. All of a sudden, you come down to the buyout candidates. Where does Chris Middleton and where does Kelly Oubre fit?
Chris Middleton doesn't help it.
There's rooms at shooting guard and backups. There's plenty of room in our team for guys to get minutes, and we can pay them more than anybody else can. That's how we can use free agency to be our real weapon this year.
I hope so. Listen, there's another game tonight. I got to get going today, so I think we're going to cap it right about here. I think we should do a show next. Was that
tomorrow? Sunday. Tomorrow's the next game.
I thought. Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right.
No, there is a game.
I thought it was back.
It's
back-to-back Memphis. It's not back.
The Niners are gonna.
That's my brain right there. Anyway, I hope everybody had a wonderful holiday season, whatever holiday you celebrate. I hope that those of you who believe there's a war on Christmas survive that war on Christmas with your strength and your dignity intact. I didn't see any Christmas casualties again this year. I always wait to see somebody taken down by the war on Christmas, but it just never seems to happen. It's just, I don't know. It's the weirdest war I've ever seen in my life. And again, let's take 2026 one day at a time, and let's just try to be positive about things and move things in a generally positive and polite direction. And,
can I interject one thing before we sign out?
Please.
We're talking about pace.
Yep.
And the one thing that we have in our favor is in the playoffs, it always slows down.
I agree, but the whistles dry up.
Yeah, but still, it slows down. I mean, that's more important than the whistles almost to us. Is pace slows down. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm not going to disagree with that. I think so.
But I wonder. I think that's a really salient point, Michael. But there's something about the way that we're seeing this aggressive, too many fouls that the refs can't call. Haphazard, chaotic pace that's being preferred and pushed by so many teams that you almost wonder if it really is going to change. I mean, the regular season now they're playing it like the playoffs, man.
Some games, yeah, some games.
Some of these games have been like playoff games. What are they going to do? Where do you go in the playoffs if that's where you're starting from?
Full board tackles.
Yeah, I mean, it's Kurt Rambis is
Free.
Yeah.
Every team's going to need a safety. What I wonder is if we start leaving a guy back on defense, like a safety. I'm not joking all that much, to be honest. The way our transition defense is, it almost.
But did you see how? I mean, there were so many plays in that game last night that, I keep calling these plays like it was poor Hayes was down twice with shots to the groin. I'm like, two plays, right, one back-to-back plays, and he loses out on both of them. Yeah,
nothing. No, I know it's getting a little out of hand. But I think you're right. The way the refs are calling it, and that's a whole other that's a whole topic, right?
I mean, how do you?
Yeah, this is my thing.
They took a game that had Bob Cousy and a bunch of part-time guys dribbling around, and then they turned it and they gave that to 300 of the most athletic guys in the world with modern science and training them all behind them, and then they let them go wild on the same size court.
It is going to be interesting. We'll see how this
goes. Guys used to run around on, I mean, that's basketball for you.
Oh, where'd Jamie go? There you are.
I don't know. Everybody just disappeared.
Yeah, you did.
Anyway, all right, I don't know what happened. Like literally, everybody. The stream kept going, but we all got booted off, and I just saw that you were still in the studio, so I just threw it on. Anyway, I'm just going to end it because now there seems to be something going on with the Talk Studio Streamlabs.
Okay.
Thanks, Michael and Tom, for joining me today. Tom probably
wherever Tom is. Tom disappeared.
Anyway, but we'll talk more about your point on pace because I think you're right, and I think we're going to see how that changes over the course of the season, and hopefully it starts to break in our favor a little more. Thanks, everybody, and have a great day.
Aloha.